Alrighty, everybody, welcome to another episode of GameCorp. This is the one and only gaming podcast that you will ever need. I am your host once again. My name is Matt Hedrick, and here with me, running pretty much everything, is Mr. Chad Porto. How are you, sir?
Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got coffee in my tummy and I feel so good right now.
What kind of coffee you drinking?
The kind that comes from beans?
Like, do you just drink black coffee? That's more or less what I was asking.
No, I put milk in it
Hmm.
to stifle the acidic nature of the coffee. Although I do drink black sometimes. More of a
I like.
cream colored brown, though, kind of guy. For both coffee and women.
Interesting.
Actually, my palate for women is diverse and wide. I pity
Espe-
racists.
Well, yeah, especially considering you have the Woman Crush Weekly that you have on the site, that you could tell right there that it's varied.
To be fair, not all of them are my selections. Sometimes I do farm it out to you, you helper hens, because I don't. Cause sometimes it's like I don't fucking know who. I don't know. And somebody will be like, "How about this?" I'm like, "That'll work. I don't care."
Well, to do
But
it weekly's got to be tough, man, because I mean, you can only do so many at a point before you like can't think of any more, you know?
well, and I also put the rule in that I can't reuse the same woman. That sounds so wrong. More than once every 52 weeks. So like if I use someone as the WCW for July 4th, I can't go back to
Mm.
that well again until after July 4th of the next year. So that also kind
Hmm.
of hamstrings me.
Do you ever just like keep a running? Do you just like keep a running list of it or anything?
I do. You can go to our Tumblr account. I think it's like nerdcorp.tumblr.com. And we have every
Uh-huh.
WCW that we've listed in entirety, in infinitum. It's actually not technically the right word, but we have every single one that we've ever listed. And we even have like links to all the posts because usually what we do is we do a post on the like just that little thing on the website, but we also have a corresponding Tumblr post with the photos that we've used. Sometimes, like back in the day, we used to have like a little write up and like 5 or 6 photos, but I'm like, that's too much work.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that changing because initially it was like maybe like a couple of paragraphs or something, but then it just became pictures.
Our very first one ever was Allison Brie back in 2015 of February.
Hmm.
And we started to document them on the websites on March 8th, 2017 with Kate Upton. I wrote here all previous selections have no galleries due to the website they were posted to getting erased due to. Oh, that's right. We were posting them to the website and then I fucked the website up.
Congratulations there, sir.
Thank you. And you want to know how I did it? It's fantastic.
Incompetence.
Largely. I was trying to fix something to change like a part of the website because we had a guy who would come on. Maybe it's a girl. I only say that because he told us he was transitioning, and I don't know if he ever went through with it because he kind of disappeared from the face of the earth. But this individual had built a website for us, and it was like super laden and all this like tech lingo and stuff. And I was trying to adjust something that I couldn't get his help with, and this was like right around the time he kind of disappeared on us. So it kind of just went kaputski, and I was like, Andrew, I killed the website. And Andrew's like, God damn it. So we went, and that's when we started using the format that we have on the website now is because of that. This is just a regular template for the website. Like, anyone can have this layout. You know, but it gave us exactly what I was looking for with all the little accoutrements and stuff. So it worked for us. But yeah, so technically our first one was Allison Brie on the website, and our first one that we started documenting on Tumblr was Kate Upton. And can't really blame me for that one.
No,
Like,
for obvious reasons.
no, it's just no. We've had some repeats in our 5-6 years doing this, but never within 52 weeks of one another. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
Ooh, I forgot we did Toxalok one day. She's pretty. You need to watch the show The Neighbors because it's fantastic, and she's fantastic in it.
The Neighbors?
Yes, it's fantastic. It was an old ABC sitcom from like 2013, 2014. It only lasted 2 seasons, but it was really fucking good.
I'll have to find that and check that out.
It's for free on abc.com. Speaking of for free, I need to borrow your Amazon.
I technically don't have Amazon. Technically,
I need to borrow your girlfriend's Amazon.
it's my father. It's my father's actually.
Oh, okay. I need to borrow your father's Amazon.
And what would that be for, sir?
I want to watch the OC.
So you insult me on a weekly basis. Don't want to be around me, but you still want free shit.
Yeah, basically. Duh. Welcome to the fucking
And
party.
my incentive is the show because you're not always enthusiastic about that. So
You really gonna make me say this on the air? My continuing friendship is the only incentive you need, bastard.
continuing friendship. I always thought it was continuing hatred.
I mean, whatever. Call it what you want. It ends if I don't get your Amazon, though, bitch.
I guess one is bred from the other. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, I'm being more facetious. I don't actually need your father's Amazon. How much is Amazon for? Because I don't even want to sign up for Amazon. Like, I hate Amazon. I despise those fuckers.
Well, all I know is the way I know it works is like I believe Prime Video is like a part of like getting the year subscription thing to Prime, like delivery and stuff too. I think it's like $100 a year. I want to say.
Fuck that noise.
Yeah, that's what I believe that's what it is. That's the last I remember.
I need it for like 2 days so I can binge 4 seasons of the OC. Amazon, you fucking cunts.
You could probably. I mean, you could pay for it monthly, but then again, 2 days for $10. I don't think that's worth it either.
You do not understand. You know what? Fuck this noise. I might just go see if the exchange is open, go up and grab all 4 fucking seasons.
It's not essential right now, dude, so you're fucked.
Well, they were open 2 weeks ago and they weren't essential.
I haven't checked or the one by me to see if they still are. So,
fuck it, I'll just go to fucking Target and buy shit there. I need me some da 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 da. California, here we come, right back where we started from. Da, 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 da. I need that. I need that so badly.
now if I'm remembering right, was the OC was that a CW show or am I wrong on that?
You are incorrect, Dorama. It was a Fox show. 2003, 2004 to about 2007, 2008. 03, 04, 05, 05, 06, 06, 07. Yeah, 2003 to 2007. California. It's terrible, but it's like it's literally like just a soap opera. But it's fantastically terrible. I love it. The main character
just sounds like that's kind of entertaining, right?
It is. The main character is supposed to be 16, but he's 26 in real life. Did you see Gotham, the TV show?
Yeah, I have seen Gotham. Yeah.
You know the guy who plays Commissioner Gordon or Detective Gordon on that show?
That he's like the main in this or something.
He's the main character. He's 40 in Gotham. He's playing 16 in the OC. They're 16 years apart. The math don't add up.
Yeah, no way. But the way he looks, no.
No. He was actually
no way, sir.
He was really good in both those shows, though. So All right,
Mm,
so we're doing a homebrew for this week's episode. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rescue-Palooza.
hmm
It's based off the TMNT #3 game with the goddamn. I wanted to call them juggernauts, but they're not. The Triceratons. Triceratons. They're on,
Triceratons is right. Yeah.
yeah, they're on the cover. They're shooting their little laser beams, going the third game, and I'm like, the third game. 'Cause I still remember that
You have a
goddamn first
big.
game. I
Do
still
you did you
remember.
really like dislike the third game or no?
No, I still remember the goddamn first game.
Oh. And that was actually that was when Konami was trying to produce multiple games at once or something like that. But for some reason, I think there was some kind of licensing issue with games, so you can only they had to make up a label. That was what Ultra Games was to release the game. It was weird.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry. All right, so um, you do the ninja stuff. You save a bunch of heroes, and then after you save them, you get to use them. It's pretty rudimentary, straightforward. Let me ask you this though. So you do get to like unlock characters. The first one you unlock is April. You get to
hmm
unlock Casey. Yada yada yada. Do you get to start with them on the next playthrough?
That I do not know because I've only played through the game once. So that I do not know, but I believe you like there's got to be a way you can. I probably could just load a save file again. I'm sure there's like a new game plus way of doing it. There's got to be.
Well, I'm not going through all this nonsense to play with Usagi Yojimbo and Casey Jones for only like 4 levels. Like fuck that noise. Also,
Do you
they
stick
have
with
the
the turtles for the most part, or just
God, no.
did you try to dab in the side characters?
Dabbed all the hell in the side characters. I was hoping April O'Neil. 8-year-old me would have been very
Don't
happy with
play as
that.
Vert. Don't play as Vert. He's horrible.
I played as Usagi. I didn't. I only got to Casey Jones, and I stopped because I'm like, this is
Okay.
enough. I've played this game long enough. And it's
That
really
that that that's never a good sign to hear from you.
it's pretty much just like the third game, but the plot
Mm.
doesn't make as much sense or makes more sense. I don't remember the third game too well, so comparing probably isn't the best of things though. But here we are. So pretty much beat by beat remake almost. Same levels, at least that I can remember. Mostly the same villains, at least that I can remember. They did use all of the 90s, late 80s or 90s cartoon stylings of all the characters.
Mm.
These are definitely new sprites, though. So there's at least that.
There's some variation in the because I'm from what I know, you haven't played through the whole thing, I believe. So, but when you're playing through the rest of the game, there are this game's got sometimes multiple parts to a stage. It's not always one for one the straight shot. They try to add at least a few branching paths to it.
Mm.
Like I think the Technodrome had like a part where you're just going through the kitchen or something like that, fighting pizza monsters. It's pretty fun.
I mean, what other monsters would be facing off in the pizza in the kitchen with? I mean, come on. So let's hit this the graphic show. Here the graphics. Here we come. Oh, I do want to say this. I love how whenever you get new characters for the villains, can you play as the villains?
I believe you can acquire them in the game. I believe they are playable characters.
Well, because it says like at the end of each level, like, hey, we're looking for a few good mutants, and then below that, it's like, hey, kid, you want to take over the world?
Yeah, it gives you choices, I think, between which character you want to choose or something like to unlock, and then you could always go back and play it and get the other one. I think.
Hmm. Interesting. So, I love that when you get that screen, the top is the good guy, the bottom is the bad guy. but it's designed to look like the back of an action figure package.
Isn't that awesome? I love
I
that.
thought that was pretty stylish. Not even gonna lie.
This
So,
is done by one guy, by the way, just to put that in perspective straight up. Like,
well, I skipped to the end of the video that we have here to see this credits, and there's 7 or 8 guys there.
okay.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe he did. Maybe he did all the graphic work, but I know that this is at least several people who worked on the entire product because the music.
Yeah, it took him like a few years to make it, I think. So,
Get you surprised. So graphically speaking, I want to be a dick. I do. It's where my bread is buttered.
it's in your, let's say it's in your nature, man.
It's biology. But I think the graphics are actually pretty good. There are a lot of updated sprites, as mentioned. I can't speak for all of them, nor do I know if all the villains are the same or if they got new coats too. But it really does look and feel like the '90s, but with a lot better design. The colors are smoother, the animations are a bit smoother. Although will say the animations aren't perfect. Like just looking at
Hmm.
April Jones and how she kicks, it's very kind of I don't know if aggressive is the right term, but it's very. There's not a lot of frames in her movements. It's kind of like a
Hmm.
Tiger handheld game. Like you hit the button and then you see them kicking.
Delayed reaction or something, right?
No, not a delayed reaction. It's missing segments of the animation. But I don't necessarily think
Hmm.
that's a bad thing, considering this was a homebrew. The games wasn't made by a multi-billion-dollar company, so I'm not gonna
Mm-mm.
slam it. I think there's room for improvement, but I am impressed. So I'll give it a 4.
I like it too. I like how even they didn't just palette swap things and just say, "Oh, here's April." Like they actually gave April unique things about her to do. Like even her weapon is unique. Just throwing a
Yeah,
fucking microphone is great.
that's pretty cool.
That's like an yeah, it's a nice touch. That's my favorite part of this. Like I said, I love the level design in this. The little touches to incorporate certain turtles like memorabilia, toys. If you do actually end up playing this through the end, you're gonna like what the end is for it. It's hilarious, but that I don't want to spoil. But the my I think my favorite thing like you is the toy, the action figure thing, because that takes me back to being a kid. I'm completely all about that. But everything's pretty solid about it. Animates really well. Um, Everything's pretty fluid in motion. So yeah, I don't think you can get too harsh on it. I'd probably go with the 4 as well.
All right, the sound. Super not impressed.
Yeah, this is where it's kind of like you could have done a lot. I think you could have done more with it, honestly.
Now this is strictly a computer game, yes.
Yes.
So there is no limitations to what you could do with the audio file. Now, I don't know if he thought that the music was charming. I don't know if he used the music straight up from the third game. I don't know if he ran into logistical issues with how to make the music. I don't know. I'm going to
Hmm.
say that with the amount of love that went into this, either he outsourced the music or he's not a musical engineer. So I'm going to fucking sit here and say it's a 2.
Yeah, it does falter a little bit. The only part where it gets a slight bit of charm is when he's pulling the sound bites for the villain characters when they're talking to you. Like hearing James Avery's voice actually coming out of the Shredder's mouth when you're fighting him is pretty funny. And I think that's a nice touch. But besides that, everything here is you can tell this is not an area where he has a lot of expertise. And I can't give it that high either. Like can I really want to to me it's still fairly average, so I might say 3.
Okay.
I think I'll stick with 3.
Gameplay. It's your standard beat 'em up. I'm not going to sit here and slam it too hard, but I'm also not going to give it tons and tons of credit because it's a standard beat 'em up. You jump around, you kick, you dodge. You don't really dodge, you punch. You punch some more, then you kick some more, then maybe you punch and then you kick, and then you kick and then you punch. So it is what it is. I'll give it a 3 because it's beat 'em up and what else do you want from me? So 3.
Yeah, yeah, it's really hard to criticize it too harshly for something like that because it's the core mechanics of what the original game was designed to be anyway. Um, and I think that like for me it's rudimentary, but I don't mind rudimentary with a game like this. I really don't. I think it's fine. I do appreciate some touches here of trying to add a little bit of depth to the game, like maybe like giving you the special moves and stuff. I thought that was nice. Throwing in a special stage that incorporates some other aspects of the series into it was a nice bonus, but it doesn't add a whole lot. So I think 3 is a good sticking point.
Okay. Fun factor. I was charmed by it. I am a very big fan of 2D sprites, especially these sprites. They look pretty damn solid. I just realized that one of April O'Neil's specials is taking a photo of somebody and flashing the bulb in their eyes.
That awesome. I love this shit.
I don't know if that's awesome or dumb, but it's something. How much of the third game did you actually play? Do you remember?
I've played most of the third game. Yeah, yeah.
Are a lot of the villains in this game like Karai? Because I thought she was a
I
newer
don't.
character.
Karai wasn't in any of the older games to my knowledge. Yeah, Karai didn't become like a prevalent thing, like a big deal until I think the 2000s in that series.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I don't believe she was. No, but yeah, so they do throw in some things from other series to change it up too.
So fun factor, I'll give it a 3. Like Turtles isn't my jam, but I definitely did enjoy what they were doing with it. Um, I think there could have been other things to expand on, maybe some changes in certain sprites. Like I don't like the Leonardo sprite. It just kind of looks
Hmm.
hokey. I think you could have done a much better design with that, but that's just my opinion. And also, his reach is terrible. Like, good God, he's got 2 swords, and it's like he's fucking chopping with a knife. What is
Oh
this?
yeah, I hate it. I hated that too. Like you could have expanded on that like a little bit, give him like a slight more reach, man. Because like Donatello is like the OP character in these games. He just sticks out the bow and you could flip people right over his head. No,
Right.
no fucking problem.
So I'll give Fun Factor a 3 because I do see the charm.
I had quite a bit of fun with this, but even being a big really big fan of it, I can't perfect score it either. But my fun comes from all the references of things like the toys and all the other like items and things like that and landmarks that I remember as a kid from the cartoons. So those touches make it enjoyable for me. So I think I'm going to go a little higher, but not perfect. I'm going to go to a 4.
And then challenge.
None.
Well, what did we say last week? The challenge is it worth the time? Essentially,
Yeah, that's a pretty good description of it.
um, I would give it a 3. Even an average Turtles fan would enjoy some of this. I always forget that they have a fucking alien designed after the xenomorph who's just yellow. I always forget that.
Yeah, those are the pizza monsters. Yeah.
Fucking Christ, man. I'll give challenge. I'll give it a 3. It's
I'd
worth
say that's
your time to some degree.
yeah, there's a fair I believe there's a fair enough balance. It's not it sits middle ground, I believe too. Like it's not too hard. So yeah, three is a fair score, I think. I'd say so too. 3.
Can I ask you a serious question?
What would that be?
Why does the Rat King have the best hair in the entire series?
I do not know because they have changed the Rat King over the course of these series. Like,
Yeah, he looks
I remember the Rat
fundamentally
King in the original. He looks what?
different.
Oh, like in my actual favorite of his is it's between the current comic and the 2012 variation they did of the Rat King because he's almost like a Grim Reaper looking character,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool, like skeleton looking, and I appreciate that. And they almost gave him like in the new comic they gave him like a Castlevania type vibe, like he's always sitting on a throne and he's always drinking like a bottle of wine or like a glass of wine in a chalice or something. I thought it was pretty cool.
Hmm. Well, overall, it gets a 64. It's a 16 out of 25.
64%.
Mm-hmm. 16 out
Alrighty.
of 25. So now,
Not bad for a homebrew.
let's get into our useless news. I gotta work on that. Now it's time for your useless news with your host, Hip Magic. And on Italian fashion design, Pad Chordo. Now to the front desk.
What I totally forgot the name.
It's Hat Medrick.
Thank you very much. Hat Medrick.
Because you switch the H and the M.
Thank you very much for that introduction. As always, my name is Hat Medrick, and these are tonight's news stories. I can't even take that name seriously.
I'm Fat Cordo. So that's
a good one.
Thank you. So you remember, I keep telling you I might be dyslexic.
I've never heard you actually tell me this. This is news to me. So what would make you think that?
Because I looked at the headline, and it says first images, PS5 DualSense controller is a radical departure. I first saw that as DualSense controller is a racial departure. I'm like, what?
Wow, yeah. There's a high possibility there, that, man.
What? What does that even mean? But anyway, I dropped one of your stories. It was the Cook Mama or whatever. I don't give a fuck about projections about your stupid fucking games financials. Fuck off.
Cooking Mama had nothing to do with the financials. It was talking about like the game actually having people getting pulled because supposedly there was a code inside of it that was actually cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency there, sir?
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, still don't care.
Yeah. I know you don't care, but it's a clarification. It had nothing to do like directly with the financials 100%. It was more or less, it was confusing people as to why a game like this was fucking draining battery life like crazy when it doesn't need to perform.
I mean, you don't know. How dare you? How dare you judge? How dare you? All right, so the PlayStation 5 has a controller that's white. Whoa.
And it looks weird to me. It looks weird to me. Like I don't understand they changed. It looks like they changed something with like the light thing on there too. I don't think that's going to be on the back of it anymore. The design itself looks like they're getting closer and closer to Xbox's like controller design a little bit, at least with like how it left like the thickness of it, how big it looks. And I know there's what is on a couple of the buttons I believe changed on here. The first thing I thought of, it just looks weird, but I don't know if you see it, but it looks like this thing is like the touchpad thing's like wearing a bra. It looks weird.
No, I don't see that, weirdo. And I don't see any of the buttons being changed either. It looks very much like the PS4 controller, just with a white top, and you're right with the change of the light, it does look like it's not going to be around the center point console thing. I don't know what the fuck, a touchpad. Instead of being on the top, which I guess is fine because I really didn't like the top of the PS4 controller. Like it only really serves any purpose with like Resident Evil, because like you'll have green and then you'll have yellow, and then when you get to a red, you're like, oh, I gotta take some medicines. So
You
I
feel
don't
like that
mind.
was more like distracting of a light thing, and feel like it's
Oh
better that
yeah.
it's more subtle now.
Oh yeah, especially when I was playing like Grand Theft Auto. Oh my god! Every time the cops would pop up, it would start flashing on my controller. I'm like, really, motherfuckers? I'm trying to run away from the law, and you're coming at me with this nonsense? Oh, motherfucker! We gonna have
It
a
kind of surprises
conversation.
me they go the controller route first, though. You know, like Xbox went with the console first, but they're going controller route. Makes me wonder, like, what would even the design of the console be based off of what this controller is? If it's
I
going to be radically different, you know?
I don't think it's gonna be radically different. I think it's gonna be very similar to what we saw with the PS4, but it's also going to look very much in the way of it being very white, which I don't
Hmm.
actually mind. But it's kind of one of those things where this is still shaping up to be a disaster. So like,
Oh man, yeah,
it
yeah.
really
With what they're offering and with what they've revealed at this point, it's like they're about to hit a wall with this thing, and if they don't show like a bigger reveal soon, you know, they gotta hit summer and show us something, or else this is gonna be a disaster.
yeah, they're not doing good.
No, no, especially with one of the other stories I put in there too. Jesus Christ.
Well, let's get to that story. PlayStation has removed The Last of Us 2 from the PS4 stores and issued refunds.
Damn. That makes me think that there's a high possibility that it'll either be at the end of the year that you'll get this game, or it'll be next year if they're doing something that drastic. Makes me
Well,
sad, man. I'm
I,
serious.
I already I checked out Inside Gaming Daily. They hypothesize that due to some of the wording and all that, that the game was supposed to be finished while everyone was at home. But Naughty Dog is realizing that it's very hard to program a game and take care of the household at the same time. So there seems to be a bit of, a desire on Naughty Dog's side to prioritize the families over the monies. And if that's the case, that's cool.
Mm,
But
totally fine with
I
that.
like I said to you though, when was it? Fucking 2 weeks ago. This game's not done.
Mm,
That's why I got pulled. You can cite logistical issues, but the game's not done. The game's supposed to be out a month from now, and it's not even done. And clearly, it was the case well before this whole Corona thing
mm.
happened. So you kind of got to realize, like, if the game is this incomplete, this deep in, then it was going to always be delayed.
Well, that too, and you can always tell like when a developer keeps stretching the finish line that there's got to be some big issue going on. When they just keep pulling it and pulling it from you, something is going on.
I mean, you ain't wrong on that one.
That worries me. Like I'm seriously thinking that we could get past when Cyberpunk 2077 releases before you see The Last of Us Part 2. Honestly, I think
Whoa,
that's possible.
it's Keanu.
I am Keanu.
All right, I want to make fun of you. That wasn't bad though. Fuck, I hate you.
You actually like that?
It wasn't that bad. Like I want to say you're terrible and that no one loves you and that your entire life was an existenceless, meaningless mess, but I can't. Keanu's solid.
Thanks, man. It's nice to get a compliment once in a
All right, I'm
while,
not
man.
giving you a compliment. I'm
I'll
just
be
saying I
sure to
can't.
store.
I'm not giving you a compliment. I'm saying I can't insult you. Take that how
Uh,
you
it,
will.
I'm gonna chalk it up to a victory because I know I can never get you to admit that it's the exact statement. So that's just gonna go in the bank right there. Okay.
Fair. I'm gonna watch The Losers tonight. I think.
The
I'm look,
Losers.
I'm
I
looking
remember that.
through.
I remember that movie.
I'm looking through our WCWs that still have links, and I got to Zoe Saldana, and I love Zoe Saldana, and I remember that Zoe Saldana
Nice.
was in like really skimpy attire in The Losers, and I'm like, I want to watch The Losers. Plus, I love the whole Chris Evans dancing to Journey. It's what a wonderful movie.
That movie. That movie was a blast, man. That was one of the most fun action movies I've seen.
Oh, it's great, and it's fucking comic book movie, and then you had fucking Chris Evans dancing to "Don't Stop Believing," and he's like, "I can kill you with my mind." And then he points his finger guns at the guys, and he pulls the trigger. He pulls his thumb on the finger guns, and the guy goes flying. Does it on the other one, and then he narrows his fingers to the one guy and goes, "Your move, dirtbag." And the guy puts his hand down, and he just does the OK symbol, and like the camera goes through the OK symbol through like the glass, and it goes all the way to across like the street where his sniper buddy is. I was like, "Oh, that's great! I love it! Oh, it's so good." Plus the villain
How
in it is
badass is a
great.
moment like that? Isn't that great?
Oh,
That's
it's
so
so good.
awesome.
But the villain was even better because the one scene where they're like sitting down playing cards, and he's like, "All right, I have 3 2s," and the villain's like, "I don't think you know how to play Go Fish." Like they're just fucking playing Go Fish. He's this maniacal villain. Like what the fuck? Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so good. Yes, please. I love that movie. I want to remake that movie into a show, but bring back the entire cast because they were phenomenal. I love that at the end of the movie, like they do this last big like desperate mission, and it's like, but it ends up just being to get the guy in to see his new baby. And I was like, oh, that's adorable. I love that.
You gotta love when they put an epic amount of effort into a tiny little thing, but it's the tiny little thing means the world to them. I love
Right?
stuff like that.
It's just fucking adorable. I love it. So anyway, yeah, Last of Us 2 isn't done, and it hasn't been done for a while, and they were gonna delay this anyway. So,
Oh man, sad, just sad. This is gonna be a PS5, PS4 like crossover thing, and just watch.
I mean, basically. Although I am still optimistic that Final Fantasy VII remake is going to be good. Came out this week.
Well, I know how kind of a critic you are, so I'll just let you deal with that one.
Is it not getting good reviews?
It's got a mixed it's so far it's doing okay. It's doing like between the 8s and the 10s pretty much.
Oh, that's
review wise, score wise. So there's just little slight differences of opinions with certain things. So one of the things anyway flex on that. So
wait, what flex on that?
One of our stories in here reflects on what
oh
I just said,
reflex. I was like flex. How old are we? All right, let's jump to that one. The difference between
I was trying to segue, dickhead.
Well, this is not a bad segue. I thought you said flex though. I'm like, the fuck? What are we, 22? Motherfucker, I'm 33. You're 35. Fuck off. Flex. The difference between Final Fantasy VII's easy and normal mode is too drastic. By Mike Fahey. Mike, I think you're a cunt.
Well, what the highlight of this was in here was he was talking about how he was playing through the game and he was doing okay with it for the most part in the normal mode, but then he got to a certain boss and switched it to easy, and he was saying that the change is so drastic that you don't even feel like the fight is really a fight anymore. I'm like, one, dude, that's because the game is trying to be adaptable to players, and two, you knew that going in. Why did you think that easy wasn't going to be anything else other than what it is? Doesn't make sense.
So wait, just he's complaining that easy mode is easy.
Yeah, he's complaining that easy mode is too easy, that it basically like holds your hand. But there's even one. Here's the thing that's kind of weird. There's a mode in this that even takes that a step further and basically plays the game automatically for you. So he's not even at the easiest mode, so to speak.
Mike Fahey, you're a cunt.
Because the classic mode turns it into like I think it's like automatically the characters fight and then you just select certain things from the menu or something like that. So he's not even playing it on there. So I don't know what the fuck he's bitching about, to be honest.
He's a cunt. That's what he's bitching about. He's bitching because he needs some tough acting to act in because he's a cunt.
Or he's just trying to get people to view his page by talking about something related to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Fucking clickbait bullshit, motherfucker.
That's
As
why
a
I can't stand
professional
shit like
writer
that.
myself, I both value and despise the ability to have a catchy headline, but you got to make sure that your fucking article has substance beyond that point. Complaining that easy mode is easy, it's like complaining that super hard mode's super hard. Then don't play it. It's not a fucking goddamn rocket science. It's kind of bullshit. It's super fucking easy. Then bump it up.
And besides, if all you're doing is trying to play through it just to play through the story anyway, what the fuck difference does it make?
I mean, just go on YouTube and watch the goddamn compendium videos of all the cutscenes because those exist already.
Right?
Game's been
No
out
one's
for a day.
forcing you to do it this way, dude. If you didn't suck, you wouldn't have to go there in the beginning. So, and I'm still playing through most of it on normal, and I'm halfway through it. So I haven't switched my difficulty. What's your excuse?
And he sucks at everything. Life, love, games, grilled cheese
Not on
sandwiches.
Not on dieting, bitch. Don't fucking get me on that one.
Actually, I will, because if you were any good at dieting, you would need to have gone on a diet. Ha ha.
But the fact that I'm on it and I'm consistent with it means I'm good at it now.
Well,
So
let's
take
see
it.
how that works in 10 years. He's not even good at parenting. The son does all the work.
I mean, the truth in that statement is
It's
pretty damn
valid.
apparent.
It's valid.
Yes, it is, sir.
I won't say you're a bad parent, but like the kid does all the work. Like, let's be honest, here. Dad, I gotta go to bed. It's only 2 a.m. Yeah, no shit, dumb fuck. Oh, okay. Yeah, we should probably send you to bed then.
Dad, I'm unconscious. I'm sweating. Get me in the bed already, man.
Dad, I am unconscious.
Turn your turn.
Hell of a child right there, kids. Hell of a child.
He's speaking to me with his mind.
Look at that. Super fucking powers, man. Super fucking powers. So, Japan's state of emergency leads to suspension of game ratings. Sero has closed until May. End year releases could be influenced. Is this about like game statistical ratings, like how good it is, or is this about game grade ratings in terms of like the ESRB kind of thing for Japan?
This is the ESRB rating, like
Okay.
if you were rated E18, mature or whatever. Yeah.
Peggy 18.
So yeah, the big issue here is that this is generally the first ratings board that most games go through before they get the full approval.
Mm-hmm.
So with this shutting down for a month, this could potentially push back even some other releases that are scheduled maybe in the next few months to go even further. So this is going to cause some flux in the industry as well.
Cause some flux in the industry. Look at you using big words.
Right? Actually, I'm showing some intelligence tonight. It's a little bit crazy.
Fucking the fucking male guy from Moron Mountain over here. So how about that
Don't worry,
Amazon
because I
password?
don't think you're gonna get much more than that. I don't think you're gonna get much more than that out of me tonight as far as big words go.
The biggest word. So this will
You
be
know
interesting. This will be interesting to see what does happen because you're right. If this is like the first body for Japanese released games, then it should have a retroactive kind of reaction across the world. But there are games being made strictly in America, and I don't know how this will affect them. You know, here's the end all be all right now, folks. We are on the precipice of getting past this thing, but if we go too quickly, we're just going to end up in a worse situation in a few months. So nothing can be truly gauged on right now, and nothing can be truly doubt it. Like we got to take this one day at a time, folks. Because like one negative, one bad step, and we're right back in the shit.
Yeah, the best thing you can do, the two best weapons we have right now are patience and time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got. So stick with that. Just ride it out. Get what you can supplies wise, and you'll make it. You'll be just fine.
Well, Matt won't, but the rest of us will be fine.
I can survive. Kiss my ass.
Because you think I'm gonna let you.
If you're going to my house for supplies.
Oh,
Okay.
This isn't about supplies. I got a pillow. And I don't intend on using it to sleep. Shh.
So
That's right. Breathe in the
smothering
pillow.
then.
Yes.
Guess I'm gonna have to sleep with a weapon by my side now.
You have weapons.
I'm
That's adorable.
gonna be putting a paw with a blade then, I guess. But I hope I don't fucking roll over and lay on it. Fuck.
I come by and you're already bleeding out. Huh. Couldn't even do that right.
I look at you. I was just trying to prepare.
You was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Well, that's what you get for being a bitch. So lastly...
That would be fucked up.
Yes.
That would be fucked up because my son, I make the sandwiches and then I have my son cut it for me with me. So that would mean he would actually have to stab me with the knife for that to occur.
I mean, I got July and September in this year's pool, so I mean, we'll see what happens.
You guys you have been betting on my death with a bunch of other people for a while now. That's disturbing.
Not for a while, only like 2009.
Oh, so only a little over 10 years.
Right?
Thanks.
I mean, hey, we're still here, right?
I'm afraid I won't be for much longer according to this pool.
You got at least until July. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you until at least July.
I need to make my money, so that's why you're living, bitch.
Exactly. So, this one's I don't know how I feel about this one. Resident Evil 8 will release in 2021 with serious series departures. That is a dumb way of phrasing that. Resident Evil 8 will release in 2021 with serious departures from previous series entries. Jesus Christ, do you not have an editor? Andy Robinson.
Yeah, you could have put that title as a numerous amount of different words in there.
Yeah. Resident Evil 8 will be vastly different from prior entries. Boom.
Much easier to understand.
Fucking A. Someone get their goddamn editor on the phone. I gotta yell. I think I'm being very hard on Mr. Andy Robinson here because I really don't like what I'm reading in this. So according to credited insider Dusk Golem, yes, from the Manchester Golems.
I believe he's a game developer because I was looking at the link. I believe he's a game developer of some kind, but I don't know what about that makes him like an industry insider though.
Dude, video game developers all fuck one another. I'm sure there's a lot of dumb pillow talk. Resident Evil 8's gonna have werewolves. Fuck off. So, first and foremost, like, so I only
this is worrying you, isn't it? This is worrying you.
It's pissing me off, is what it is. I only really like Resident Evil's 1, the remake, 2, the remake, 3. I actually have never played 3 in any form. 4 and 6. I haven't played the rest, and I'm not interested in playing most of the rest. Like some of them, like the Revelations, like if I can get my hands on them, maybe. Especially the one where you get to play as Barry. Yeah. But like for the most part, like I'm not really super interested. But I was super excited, like, okay. Clearly we see the value in doing third person over the shoulder Resident Evil games, because even though Resident Evil 3 has kind of been maligned, still got more than positive reviews. And most reviews for the game goes, it's a good game. It just fell short below the expectations. And when your expectations are literally the greatest game in your series, it's not a bad thing. Because Resident Evil 2, the remake, is generally regarded as the best game in Resident Evil franchise. So it's not like you're following up the worst game in the franchise. So 3 still got really good reviews. 2 got really good reviews. Resident Evil 1 on the GameCube got really good reviews. But so did Resident Evil 7, and I thought Resident Evil 7 was fucking dumb. I didn't like it. I liked the idea behind some of it with, like, the Baker family being like machinations of previous versions of Resident Evil bosses. Like the dad's the new tyrant, the mom's the Leech Queen, the brothers Wesker, essentially, just in terms of like how they go about things. But like I didn't like the third person. I didn't like that all the monsters were just some gross silk monster thing, like goo monster, oil monster, what the fuck it was. Like, that was it. Like you had those dudes, and then you had the Baker family. That was it. Oh, and
So
then
nothing
like
about this really felt like solid Resident Evil to you, like in any way?
outside of the locale, I did like the idea of the house. Like that was cool. But outside of that, no. Like it was just really dumb, and it felt more like 4 than anything. And then like you had like a supernatural girl like able to like change bodies, and she's like, and I'm like, this is dumb. So I'm thinking after the success of the remakes, they're going to go more in line with the original series. The original versions of the series, because it's all canonical in one line. But no, that's not what we're doing, apparently. And we're going to return to the world of Alex Winter. Ethan Winter, sorry. Fucking generic-ass white dude. That's coming
With a
from me,
generic-ass white dude name, Jesus
right?
Christ.
Even his name is white. Like, literally, Winters. White. I'm
The definition of
dreaming
white.
of a white
Character.
winter, ones that I've played 1,000 times before. Boom, 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 doo, doo. We lost Matt. Matt, you back? Let's make sure that it wasn't on my end. I still got greens on my modem. Matt, I'll call him right back. Let's mute this. Call that. So, as we try to get Matt back because his internet is apparently atrocious. Nope, still not. So, the article says, as revealed by Duscalum, the game was really intended to be a third entry in the Resident Evil spin-off series Revelations. However, following positive feedback from Capcom's testing department, it was decided that the game would be transitioned into a mainline installment. Resident Evil 8 will mark the third consecutive annual release for the series, following this month's Resident Evil 3 remake and the 2019 Resident Evil 2. Several new additions to the game include will feature many narrative and mechanical departures to the series, including hallucination and insanity segments, as well as enemies based on mythical creatures such as werewolves. I don't know how I feel about that. That'll be something that we have to see with time. I certainly do enjoy the werewolves. Matthew, welcome back. I don't know what the fuck you did.
I don't know. Like it dropped me, but my internet didn't drop, so I just reset the connection. So I don't know what happened.
Fool. So Resident Evil 8 is going to feature werewolves and insanities. I have no idea what that means. Creating new games in its existing franchise, RE2 released in January 19 exceeded expectations with sales approaching 6 million units. They also announced that Devil May Cry 5, released in 2019 of March, with 2 million units in a matter of weeks, and Monster Hunter World is the company's single best-selling game ever. You have to go back to 2012's Dragon's Dogma for the last time Capcom created a wholly new franchise. So, with all that in mind, what do you feel about the drastic changes to Resident Evil?
I think they're strange, to be honest. A lot of this doesn't sound like Resident Evil to me. Like
I do like the idea of a person kind of slightly going insane over time, though. I do think you could add some decent horror elements to it, maybe. Um, the thing that throws me off the most, I think, is this claim that there's going to be like werewolves and stuff. So is this telling me, are we going to be like are we doing like mythical creatures in a setting now or something? Is this going to take place like because didn't you already get like kind of a setting similar to something like that, or am I wrong on that?
I mean,
I thought
generally
four was like that, but no.
generally speaking, you're wrong. So yes, but oh, you mean in this specific instance? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's just that one sounds weird. I think the thing I find the most interesting is that this was actually, at least from what's been quoted here, is it was supposed to be the third entry in the spin-off Revelations game in the series,
Mm-hmm.
but it was enjoyed so much or whatever during the process that it got pushed to be the eighth game. So I kind of would have liked to have seen where it went if it would have been the spin-off more, to be honest. You did maybe try to do more with those series instead of trying to maybe push the series. I mean, I know everyone wants new titles like the newest entry in a series, but sometimes side stories are a good thing, I think.
Well, with Revelations, there's really no need for it to exist.
Mm.
Like, I don't understand why you have a complete separate branch of Resident Evil games. You know, it was originally intended just to be a handheld game, but it was ported over to the PS3 and the Xbox and the PS4 and all that. But it was supposed to be just a Nintendo DS game. So maybe that's why they made it the Revelations, but it played just like a Resident Evil game. Like, I don't think you need to now have like a whole new, like if you're going to keep it on the consoles, I don't know why you would have an entire new crop of games. I think what you're going to end up seeing though is exclusivity come back in a big way for the next set of generational consoles. And I think people are going to be scrambling to get that sweet, sweet Capcom money by getting them exclusive. And that might be a way for Capcom to be like, "Oh, let's go exclusive. We can give Revelations to Xbox and then the mainline numbers to the PlayStation." So it'll be interesting. It'll certainly be
That
interesting to
would
see
that would that
if
would
this
be
does
cool to have
pan
a
out.
split properties, you know. I kind of like where you went with that, honestly.
We're still talking though, but yeah. We'll have to see if that ends up happening. I think it's going to end up happening eventually, Matt, because I think PlayStation and Xbox are going to realize that this current set of upcoming new consoles could be the last set of consoles ever. Mostly
That is
because
possible.
so many games now exist on multiple platforms. There's no longer a need to keep hawking and shucking money into these consoles. So
Mm-mm.
if you're PlayStation, what's the best way to make sure people keep buying your goddamn consoles? You get exclusive games. Like everyone thought it was such a cool thing when people started to get away from exclusive, but I'm sitting there going, then you're destroying the reason for me to buy your fucking console. Like the whole reason I got a PlayStation in the goddamn first place, the same whole fucking reason I got a PlayStation 2 in the goddamn first place, because you had Metal Gear Solid. And no one else. Same reason why people went and got the Xbox. They had the Halo.
Well, yeah, you're taking away the driving force of a console,
Yeah.
like the reason why you're selling it. So, like at that point, you're like, one other than maybe a few features here and there is no different than really having the other, honestly.
So I would very much expect to see this return eventually. But I don't know if it'll happen with Resident Evil. I don't know. We'll end up seeing eventually what ends up happening with that. Um, I'm gonna reserve judgment on the whole werewolf and insanity things. I'm not a fan of the first person, so I'm probably not gonna buy it. But if it's a good enough story, I may watch some playthroughs. Unfortunately, Resident Evil 7 story was not good. Little girl ends up getting infected with some new virus. Oh, I haven't seen that before. Guy goes to find his wife. Wife tries to kill him like 1,000 times. We call that domestic violence where I come from. Just saying. And it's like largely dumb. Like you get like your limbs hacked off all the time. Then you just pour liquid over it. Like, oh, I'm good now. I'm gonna staple my hand together. Oh, look, I got full range of movement. It's all fucking stupid.
This story doesn't make me. The way you're describing the story, man, doesn't make me want to jump into it at all.
So here's the legit. Everything I said is legit, but I'm going to tell you essentially what happened. So you start the game off, like, I'm going to skip past the prequel stuff that you played with the demo, where you played like as a film crew. So you start off as Alex or Nathan Winters or Ethan Winters. It's fucking all white ass names, right? Come on. So you start off as Ethan Winters, and you're looking for your missing wife, and she sends you a video saying, "Hey, don't come looking for me." So obviously the first thing you do is go looking for her because Dodoy. I don't remember how he found out about where she might be, but he ends up at the Baker Mansion down in Louisiana or some bayou backwoods bullshit. And he ends up getting captured by the Bakers, and it turns out the Bakers are all fucking crazy. So he works his way through the goddamn mansion. Papa Baker and Mama Baker and Sister Baker are all infected by this little girl who's got like psychological, mental powers. Like, ooh, Brother Baker, he's the son. He's not crazy because the little girl, but he's still fucking crazy. He's always been crazy. He's a sociopath. He's a psychopath. So you fight your way through the family, except for the sister, the daughter, however you want to define her. She tries to help you, but you end up having to leave her behind. And you end up, rescuing your wife, and then you go to this little tiny like ship where the little girl was originally at the start of the start of the whole series of events, and you find her, you fight her, you and your wife eventually end up getting saved by Blue Umbrella, led by Chris Redfield, and that's the end of the game. Super interesting story.
Not really.
It's literally what would have happened if Sherry Birkin had never been saved. It's such a dumb story, but it was graphically really impressive. It played very well, and it was returned to the horror roots. So I think a lot of people gave the seventh entry a lot more love than it deserved. Plus, it had a lot of great puzzles in like the DLC and the add-on missions. So that was cool. But the thing with puzzle games is once you understand how to beat it the first time, all of a sudden it loses its replay value. So unless you're doing like speed runs of it, which I get is a thing, then the game really doesn't have much there in terms of the narrative. And it's not really a nice game to look at. It's very drab, it's very gray, there's not a lot of colors. Like when you look at Resident Evil 2 and 3, the remakes, like big colors, big set pieces, vibrant, I was going to say living, but undead. Set pieces with characters in there, and there's a lot of like nuances and interesting things to go on in there. But this is like literally at a person's house in Louisiana, and there's nothing but swamp and decaying buildings to look at. It's not very flashy. It does get a little interesting in terms of the aesthetics when you get to the freighter ship that you eventually get on, but outside of that, yeah. Plus, the final boss fight is just like, oh no, I'ma die, bang, bang, bang. Oh, here comes Blue Umbrella. I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. So
no sense of dread, right? Pretty much.
Well, I don't know. It didn't scare me. That's for damn sure. It was what it was, though. So people liked it, but I don't think people are gonna like a sequel as much as they think they will. I am interested by the werewolf thing. Like that's right up my alley in terms of the things I like in the spooky ooky realms. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. If you tell me I get to turn into a werewolf, hell yeah, let's do this.
Now that would be something.
Right?
Like the virus would like now all of a sudden you got like zombie werewolves running around.
No, not zombie werewolves. You're the werewolf attacking the zombies.
Okay.
Ethan Winters, the Nathaniel of werewolves.
Well, according to what you described to me about him, that might actually give some interesting depth to his character if he could do that.
And let's be honest, we have a little girl who can turn into an old lady and psychologically destroy the willpower and mental well-being of people because of a virus. If you're going to tell me that a werewolf is out of the question, I don't even know what the fuck we're doing here. Like, you're fine with a giant crocodile and, like, a thing called a tyrant with a big claw? Like, you're fine with all that? But, like, a werewolf? That's where the line is? All right.
Because that's so strange in comparison.
We just played a game where there's little tiny bug things that will fucking impregnate you with their larvae in Resident Evil 3 Remake. But werewolves. Whoa, that's the line. We got vagina plant monsters who kill you when hit in RE2 remake, but werewolves. My big issue with this is the return of Ethan Winters, who's got literally no character. Like he has no story. He's the dude's wife. That's literally his entire plot line. And the first person stuff. Like those are the two things I have no interest in. If this follows more of like Blue Umbrella and how Chris got that started, or what have you, or how he got recruited, or what have you. All right, maybe, but we'll see. You know, we'll see. We'll see.
This would be cool if it had like a setting similar to like Van Helsing or something, you know? Like that would be cool.
Like the show or the movie?
The movie, that's the one I remember the most.
Yeah, I mean,
Like you talking about turning into werewolf and stuff, I kind of just associate with that kind of stuff.
I would not want to see that in a Resident Evil game, but I would be down with a Van Helsing-like video game. That would be baller.
Mm.
Like, I would totally be into that. Like a modern retelling of Van Helsing in today's day and age, but like with Van Helsing, that'd be awesome. Fuck yeah. Hell to the yeah. All right, so let's talk about the YouTube shit. What have you been watching?
There's not a whole lot of big in-depth things this week. Pretty much only, I'd say maybe 3 of them that I really enjoyed. Was it the Angry Video Game Nerd did a Mortal Kombat ripoff video, which I found enjoyable, and I liked just the sheer weirdness of some of the games that he was talking about, like one actually being like co-created by like the dude who did Back to the Future, Bob Gale or something, and it was about like tattooed fighters. It was really weird. But just to see the sheer amount of ripoffs in the short period of time it would take to make those games, it baffled me. So that's a good video. The other one was again, what happened for the Golden Axe Beast Rider, and that game had a fucked up history.
What happened?
Yeah, had a fucked up history, and there was so many changes in studios. And then when I found out that it was being made by the people who made the Iron Man movie game, I'm like, well, now you know why it sucks.
I thought the Iron Man movie game was good.
No. The Iron Man movie game was a straightforward flight, like it was like an air combat game on rails, and the camera was just jacked up. Like you could not focus on a target to save your life. And the difficulty ramped up way too quickly, and it was extremely short. It took maybe like an hour and a half to play through the whole thing. So it was such a rush product that it was just bad. And then the last one, which I found the most interesting, was Scott the Woz did a video on game collecting and all the kind of little discrepancies that come into that, like why, like how do you start into it? He goes, there is no way of starting into it. You pick something and you go. What are you trying to ask here? And how like it doesn't really matter what you do or how long you do it for. It's you can just collect for who you are. You don't have to go by anybody's definition. It's about what you're interested in. That's the whole point of it. You don't have to do it just for the sake of like having all the things in a series or having something because everybody else has got it now. The collections literally, they define you as what you play. So I thought it was pretty cool. So that's pretty much the biggest one out of the 3 that I like this week.
So, Mr. Nightmare, one of my horror spooky ooky videos that I like to watch, he did a quarantine horror stories, and some of these are actually terrifying. These are all alleged true stories that have happened in the last month or so across the country. It's called Mr. Nightmare, 3 Scary Stories That Happened While in Quarantine. It's really good and horrifying, so there's that. Let's see. I've watched a bunch of stuff, but how much of it is relevant? I did see I didn't even see the Golden Axe video. Just realized that it came out. We'll watch later. I did see the Angry Video Game Nerd Mortal Kombat video. I will say to that, I feel like it's time for him to either end the character or evolve him past some of this humor that he does. It's too much.
I was more or less not so much intrigued by him, but just by the stories of just these games in general. I
No, I
think.
know.
I think when
That's
he goes the storytelling route, he's fine. But when he tries to do too much swearing, it's like I know it's a personification of what his character is, but you're not evolving. You're not evolving him at all, man. You're kind of like sometimes you do it and sometimes you don't. You got to pick one, or you're gonna lose people's interest in this character.
Well, more or less, my point is that he's really gone away from a lot of the videos I were enjoying, especially with like the movie reviews, and he just does that stupid fucking video store review now, or it's just all more off the cuff. I may unsubscribe from his feed eventually. He's no longer providing entertainment that I desire. Matt McMuscles released a video on Dark Watch. He played the first 2 or 3 levels. I forgot that they end up killing Jennifer Hale's character like 20 minutes into the game. That was funny. And Cat Icarus has been playing Resident Evil 3, and he's a very enjoyable person to watch while playing video games. And I'm not a fan of watching people play games either. Like literally, I only watched those 2 videos because I love Dark Watch and RE3. So I haven't played RE3 yet, but I wanted to see more about it. Titus is continuing to upload videos to his YouTube account, Christopher Titus TV. He's up to episode 11 of the series, so that's into season 2. I think it's like episode 3 of season 2. So that's definitely a fun watch if you're looking for something comedical. Lazy Masquerade, another spooky Uka channel I follow, is posting a video called McGamey Manor, a real life horror movie. Watch the video. It's really in depth on what it is, but it's basically a consensual abuse horror show kind of thing. Like they record you being just traumatized, and it's all just the worst. I can't do it enough justice. So go watch the video if you're interested. Let's see. What else did I watch? Oh, Russell Gamia posted a video about what happened to GM mode in the WWE wrestling games. The GM mode is literally the only reason I ever played Raw versus SmackDown as long as I did. Those were fucking fun games, man.
That's your jam in games anymore, man. It's just managing players, teams, that kind of stuff.
Not anymore. Always been. Love that shit. I love having that ability to be like, y'all are fucking up. Here's how we fix this shit. I haven't seen that. Put that on there. I think that's about it.
Maybe in a previous life you were like a GM or a coach of something. It just seems like it.
Maybe I will be in this life. You don't know, bitch. Let's see. Oh, this is great. Shion had posted a video about Karen is anti-woman slur. Like you know how people go, "Okay, Karen," whenever someone's like getting really lippy. There are people now trying to say that Karen is a slur towards middle-class white women.
Wow, okay.
Well, this is following the whole "okay, boomer" shit, so like I'm not even surprised. Like the world is fucked. We need a reckoning. As always, watch the Inside Gaming stuff. They do really good stuff. I really like their channel.
They're still doing like the remote like updates, like I've been seeing on like every show now. It's because you can't have like audiences or anything or be together, so it's all from like their homes.
Yep, and they have a lot of fun with it too. So, like they've been using like different backgrounds and like Autumn Farrell, the woman who took over as the editor for the channel, is no longer appearing on camera. So instead, like it'll be like a squirrel water skating photo, and that'll be her. Like her. It's really dumb, and I love it.
That sounds awesome.
Right? So it's good shit. Like they're having fun with it. I'm actually being a little mad when they go back to filming in studio now, because like they've been having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, that's about it. I think that's everything from my YouTube side of things that is relevant.
Don't you just notice the creativity tends to come out more when you're kind of forced to do so?
Yeah, and actually, that's not that unsurprising. One of the biggest issues with WWE currently is that for the last 15 or so years, that people keep saying that Vince McMahon hasn't felt the need to be creative anymore because he's getting lazy and complacent. And if he had people who actually felt was competition, he might let things get a little bit more creative. But that's a fallacy. He'll never, even if he had real competition, he would never let that happen. He would never change who he is. But it's one of those things where, when you are up against it, you either get real creative or you get real done. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you this week. I might play RE3 or Final Fantasy 7 for next week, so we'll see.
Well, I'm currently playing Final Fantasy 7 right now, and I did buy Resident Evil 3 remake, so I'm gonna be working on that as well as finishing Doom Eternal. So I got a lot on my plate right now.
Plus, you got a kid. I guess he comes in fourth.
Yeah. No, he comes before all the gaming stuff. Believe it or not, I actually spend 90% of my day not playing a single game. So
Well, I just
primarily
don't
because he's playing most of them.
I just don't want to have to download the goddamn game and install it for 5-6 hours. That's why I haven't bought it yet. Having actual money now is weird. Like I'm
Yeah.
like I could spend all this money on stuff, but then I could also like save it. So I'm torn.
I also remember when getting 2 discs for a game was actually a substantial thing instead of just having one literally put the data to load the other.
Is that what Final Fantasy VII did?
Yep, everything is downloaded through one disc and then you play it off the other disc. Yep.
You know, that's not the worst thing, but it's so
Red Dead
fucking
Redemption 2 did that to best of my
Yeah, I
knowledge,
was just
right?
about to
Isn't
say
that
I'm
what they-
pretty sure RD2 did that, Red Dead. So like that's fine. I know someone else did it too. I forget who. I think Metal Gear Solid may have done that as well. Someone else did it. But anyway, that's all we got. Any final words before we do the rundown?
No, I'm good. Just start your rundown.
Every Saturday at a time. Who knows when? Twitch.tv/comic and GameCorp. You can check us out as we talk video games and I make fun of Matt. You can also find us on Twitter at NERDCORP, on Instagram at Real Nerd Corp, on the website at realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. If you like this show and you want to hear more shows in our Nerd Corp network of podcasts, you can download the Podbean app to your mobile device, search Real Nerd Corp on the Podbean app, and then start downloading today. You can also go to realnerdcorp.podbean.com if you're more of a computer user. Maybe you got work you want to do and you want to just go through the URL. You can do that way. We also have direct download links to all of our podcasts on the website and each article that we have up there about the website. Not the website, the podcast. You can do that there as well. So you can click on last week's GameCorp episode and hit download and good to go. We're also on our personals. Matt, what's your personals?
MNerdCorp on Twitch and the same handle on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on Instagram at Chad's Photo at Chadsphotohut. I think that's everything. If it is, Matthew, take us home.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Stay safe out there. Practice your social distancing, and we will see you on the next show.